Minute 10, Steampunk Freddy. No doubt inspired by the steampunk event for FNAF AR, Steampunk Freddy is one of the tamer variants on this list. And while changing the character to be steel and gold may do the trick, the different interpretations are what make this version weird enough for this list. Particularly the Steampunk Titan Funtime Freddy created by Hero Golem on DeviantArt. This thing looks like a beast and would honestly make me throw my pants at it. I don't know, okay, look, they're more so weird rather than scary, however, making their original appearance in the fan alternates of Funtime Freddy list, even if they aren't gold and are instead purple. I have no doubt that this thing would still crush me in a dark alley. I'm too scared to say this thing that isn't steampunk because there's no copper. It doesn't look steampunk, but it also is steampunk, okay? If I say that he's not steampunk, as soon as I step off screen, he's gonna snap my neck. And this is only number 8. This is already weird, okay? Just wait till you see the others. This is gonna be a wild list, so stick around. Speaking of sticking around, why don't you do us both a favor and hit that like button and subscribe. It really helps us out and helps the channel grow. And at 9, Fred Trap. To be honest, I searched this up just for the hell of it, and there are actually Fredbear versions of Springtrap. Fred Trap is exactly what you'd expect. Springtraps look on a yellow Freddy animatronic. The designs are actually really well made and honestly are weirder than normal Springtrap to me. I guess bears in this case are weirder than bunnies, or I guess we've grown up with Springtrap, but I think that Scott made William use the Spring Bonnie suit because of how scared Scott himself was of Bonnie, but that could just be idle speculation. There are also even more rundown versions and even scrap versions of Fred Trap, which are actually haunting and less weird. But still, either way, it would still be William inside the suit and being kept alive by the spirit of a dead kid. And yeah, that's weird enough in normal FNAF, so here you go. And at 8, Reaper Balloon Boy. Reaper Balloon Boy was introduced in Final Nights 3 Nightmares Awoken before being brought back in Final Nights 4 Fates Entwined. However, his Final Nights 4 appearance is much worse, so we'll be focusing on that one for this number. Reaper Balloon Boy's body appears to be immense for a small animatronic. He has long extending arms with blue and red striped sleeves and has protruding fingers at the ends of his hands. I mean, like, of course they're protruding, but like it's weird. He also has many red scratches all over his body, possibly resembling human cuts. In Final Nights 4, however, his appearance becomes more disfigured and rough, with his face and fingers being stretched out even more and sporting multiple sharp-looking blades on his propeller cap. Reaper Balloon Boy appears in Investigation 4 in Final Nights 4, and he, along with the other Reaper animatronics, try to attack Max Donovan in the hospital bedroom. If the player hears him laugh, they must go up and shine a light on him with the flashlight to repel him. The weirdest thing about this animatronic, though, is that his museum description reads, quote, not related to Danny DeVito. And at 7, Motorcycle Ballora. This is on the list because it's weird, okay? Look, it's not scary, but it is definitely weirder than a lot of things that we've seen here, so yeah, I mean, honestly, it probably should have been higher. Someone turned Ballora into a motorcycle though, and I don't know why. Look, I'm all for whatever you're into, okay? No judgment zone here, as long as it's legal and doesn't put anyone in danger. But this obsession with riding Ballora, okay, at this point, it's too much. It puts my mental stability in danger, and honestly, that's already dancing on the fence, so even like the slightest push will send me spiraling towards even more FNAF madness. Like, why? Why did you do this? What compelled you to make this character? And what the hell is her back wheel made of? And it's 6, Endo Baby. No, okay? That's all I'm gonna say about this thing. While Baby may not be the scariest animatronic, at least they aren't whatever the Rocky Horror Picture Show bullshit this is. Removing the animatronic casing from Baby just makes the character bone chilling. And not even in like a scary way, like in a really uncomfortable way. Why does it need so much interior if it's an animatronic? Just make a normal endoskeleton with a containment chamber and like a grabby arm thing. You don't need all these extra embellishments and cords. I get that they have to fit the technology in there, but this is a universe with discs that can change what you see based on sound. They made the technological reality stone, but can't make her inflate balloons using a normal endoskeleton? Actually, now that I think about it, that might actually just be worse. Still, why the hell would you do this in any capacity, okay? Just leave her casing on. Undress it with your eyes like normal people do. Normal. Halfway through at number 5, Havoc Puppet. Havoc Puppet is responsible for the creation of every animatronic in Dormitibus, a FNAF 3 fan game, with the exception of one. Havoc Puppet is formed by a cracked and distorted version of the puppet's original mask, which is missing its lower half. And the head has a small hole above the place its mouth would be, and then 2 white pinprick pupils inside empty sockets with presumably pitch black everything else. The lower missing half of the main mask actually features 7 black tentacle-like extensions, 3 at the back and 4 at the front. The side 2 are used as legs, while the other 2 front ones are presumably like arms, and then the back 3 tentacles seem to be like tails. I don't get it. She also has a crack on the top of her head. Okay, this thing is wrong. It looks like a giant messed up spider, and we know how I feel about spiders. I hate them, but this is still weird as hell, even for a puppet. In at 4, Fusion Baby. While I applaud the creativity here, these fusions of Baby with other Funtime animatronics are just frickin' weird. Whether it be putting Funtime Foxy's color scheme and ears on Baby, or just plopping Funtime Freddy's head on her body, the horror that is the fusion concept shakes me to my core. And honestly, even thinking about it, I want to stop recording this video. It's one of those things where like I hate it and it irks me in the worst way, but I still can't look away. Like when you want to watch something that you hate to see if you can handle it and you can't. Like that's me with these fusions. It's like a video of a spider, okay? I'm intrigued, but also I'm disgusted, so I'm avoiding it. Like, what the hell? Why do these work so well? Getting close to the end, in at number 3, Buff Ennard. Okay, I looked this up as a joke because Buff Helpy, and it turned out to be a thing, and that makes me upset. This can either be Ennard with just more endoskeleton stuff, like wires, tubes, tentacles, I don't know what to call it, but like that metallic stuff on his insides that makes him look more muscular, or it could just be adding more shell onto him and then giving him a speed up. That's the more popular one, unfortunately. And then there's the version that gives him a skin tone, and that's just messed up. Why is this a thing? Why did someone subject me to this? Because now you all have to see it. It's just, I don't know what else to say. It's nightmare fuel. It's at least as much nightmare fuel as Buff Helpy, okay, and you know that. I prefer Buff Helpy to this. At least Helpy is nice and he doesn't want to kill you and then shove himself inside you. That sounds weird, but you know what, I'm rolling with it. Helpy just wants to jump in balls. In a ball pit, okay? Buff Ennard just makes me feel uncomfortable. It's like that one time I went to the gym all over again. And yes, I went to a gym once. Thank you. But ultimately, in at number 2, Diner Ennard. Michael Afton. The boy who lived, come to die. I'm not even making a joke. This just looks like if Ennard were Voldemort and watched one too many like makeup tutorials on YouTube. And like when you see it, you'll absolutely agree. This is like the beauty YouTuber of animatronics. If James Charles, Jeffree Star, Tati Westbrook, and Nikki Tutorials had a love child and then killed it with extreme agony so that it could then possess an animatronic and then give itself a makeover, that's what this is. With all their combined genetics and lack of eyebrows, this could actually happen. This is the face of my nightmares. This is the one who was truly behind Dramageddon. And if none of you understand that, this number is truly lost. But you know what? I guarantee 1000% that what I'm saying is perfectly accurate, even if you don't understand it. I had multiple sources. The 2 women who sit next to me verified this. I am right on this. And finally, in at number 1, Bread Bear. Oh boy. Bread Bear is an animatronic coming from the Day Shift at Freddy series, who was created by Dave by modifying a Fredbear suit. The character appears in Day Shift at Freddy's 1, 2, and 3. Bread Bear's appearance is oddly similar to Fredbear, albeit wider. He is a golden colored bear animatronic wearing a purple top hat and bow tie, 2 black and white buttons on his chest, and his gray metallic eyes. Thicker arms and legs, a squarish brown nose, small brown pupils, small white teeth, round ears with the insides colored lighter shades as you know they typically would be, and a very circular shaped stomach with like brownish shades. He's also ripped around his feet and like joints and I don't know. Bread Bear also appears for real when Dave modifies an empty Fredbear suit and then unleashes it during the Sting operation on Friday, in which, depending on which route you take, it either attempts to kill Jack, it dies, or destroys the pizzeria and then sets itself on fire. Because of course it does, we love that. No FNAF game is complete without a fire at the end, right? And at 10, Ennard. Ennard is the true main antagonist of Five Nights at Freddy's sister location, composed of the endoskeletons of the sister location animatronics, and makes a return in Ultimate Custom Night. Ennard is one of the many Funtime animatronics and is a human-like animatronic with like a weird wire endoskeleton body. He has a white mask, a red nose, red eyebrows, and a green-yellow colored party top hat, and his body consists of wires with an endoskeleton, but it also has like a red button and multiple eyes all over it representing the different Funtime animatronics. And in Ultimate Custom Night, Ennard climbs in the vent system, but unlike other animatronics in the vents, he is difficult to track, appearing only briefly here and there while moving. He can't really be seen in the vent opening, but gives himself away by making a squeaking sound before attacking. You gotta close the vent door to send him on his way. Aside from being just one of the creepiest animatronics design-wise, this dude is just a whole load of worrying crawling around through the vents. So, yeah, this man is getting on the list 100%. In at 9, Golden Freddy. Golden Freddy is a bipedal rusty golden bear with lighter accents on his muzzle, ears, and stomach. He has black scleras representing a stareless entity. I probably said scleras wrong, but you know what, I don't really care. He has multicolored wiring popping out of his eye sockets, arms, ears, knee pads, feet, everywhere. It will poke out. It's like a liquid. Golden Freddy's muzzle also has supportive gaped teeth, including his lower jaw. His teeth also appear to be a grayish white, resembling rust, kind of. I mean, it's a weird kind of rust. I don't know why the wiki says that. He appears to be slumped over sitting down, and as most of his iterations are. But in Ultimate Custom Night, Golden Freddy will occasionally appear in the office after the player closes down the monitor. The player must pull up the monitor again quickly or use the Freddy mask to make him disappear. Staring at Golden Freddy for too long will end the night and he'll jump scare you. Although I think the reason this version is so scary is because you can't get rid of him with the death coin, because if you try, you'll get jump scared by psychic friend Fredbear and you'll lose. So just hide. Just hide. That's what these games teach us. Don't fend for yourself, just hide. Hide in a mask. Hide behind your tablet. Hide behind technology. That's what all you commenters do anyways, right? In at 8, Music Man! Music Man is a viable animatronic from FNAF 6 Pizzeria Simulator and returns as an antagonist in Ultimate Custom Night. Music Man is kind of bipedal, although bipedal means you walk on 2 legs. This man eventually ends up having 4. I don't know if this version has 4, but he's white with pink accents on his eyelids, lips, nose, stomach, and has some purple accents around several areas. He represents a humanoid entity with spider-like legs blotched with purple coloring. His eyes are completely black with white pupils, similar to Freddy, and he has a black top hat guided with a white stripe, because of course, why do so many of these animatronics have top hats? His stomach contains a speaker with 2 separated speakers similar to the Funtimes. His symbol is yellow and has gray handles, but his properties are pretty damn special, okay? See, Music Man is sound activated, so with too much noise going on in the office, it will make him start crashing his cymbals. The player must then stop making noise or he'll crash the cymbals faster and faster, and eventually he'll jump scare you. And honestly, this is one of the most terrifying things in the game because the volume of the game itself is something that we can control, like through our computer, but the noise that the game makes isn't something that we have any say over. So you, in part, just need to hope that you're lucky, and then deal with the noise threats as they pop up. And at 7, Nightmare Chica. Nightmare Chica isn't a selectable character in Ultimate Custom Night, but is rather a secret character in the game that is spawned in by Dee Dee. Nightmare Chica's jaws will appear on the screen when she's spawned in. The player needs to turn on the power or AC to prevent her mouth from closing and never appear again. That's absolutely terrifying! Okay, just slowly watching the jaws of death surround your face after just randomly being summoned is absolutely shocking. Like, how do you react to that? You don't even need to see the animatronic for this to be absolutely terrifying, and that's saying something. Like you're just chilling there, and all of a sudden, this little pops up, she's like, how unfortunate, and then boom, you got the jaws of sudden death surrounding your mall. Like, why did you have to do this to Mommy Chica, okay? In nightmare form nonetheless. At least put me in Toy Chica's mouth, damn it. And at 6, Jacko Chica. Jacko Chica is an antagonist exclusive to the Halloween Update DLC for Five Nights at Freddy's 4, replacing Nightmare Chica, but she returns as an antagonist on Ultimate Custom Night. Jacko Chica is a Halloween-themed version of her original counterpart Nightmare Chica, and is a distorted, nightmarish version of Chica with several sharp teeth and wires sticking out from the torn parts of her body. Unlike her original counterpart though, she lacks eyes and an endoskeleton head, instead having a bright orange light in her eye sockets and torso, and an orange tint to fit with the Halloween theme. She also carries around a jack-o'-lantern instead of her iconic cupcake. When the office heats up to 90 degrees, Jacko Chica will appear in both halls at the same time. Once she is fully materialized, she will then jump scare the player, ending the game. The only way to stop stop her is by closing the left and right doors at the same time to make her vanish, but this will not work if the office reaches 100 degrees or more. Damn, now we gotta deal with heat too? Jesus. How about doing at number 5, XOR? XOR is a special variation of DD in Ultimate Custom Night that replaces DD when playing 50-20 mode and on very rare occasions during normal gameplay. XOR, also known as Shadow DD, resembles the Shadow animatronics that appear in FNAF 2 and 3 and has a name that's kinda similar to the animatronic known by most fans as Shadow Bonnie. It is unknown if it is intentional or by coincidence, but while XOR cannot attack the player, she can appear in the office, rapidly sliding left and right while singing a distorted version of Dee Dee's song that's actually also in reverse. This is followed by a guitar riff signaling that if playing 50-20 mode, she has added all of the 6 secret characters that are not available in the selection screen. Okay, RWQFFASXC, which is Shadow Bonnie, Plush Trap, Nightmare Chica, Bonnet, Mini Renas, and Lolbit. If she appears during normal gameplay, she will either add a new character with a randomized setting from 1 to 20, or only one of the secret characters. Luckily. And for Helpy. Helpy is a small plastic figure from Freddy Fazbear's Pizzeria Simulator. He is also a returning character as an opponent in Ultimate Custom Night. Helpy is a mini version of Funtime Freddy from Sister Location. He has a white body with purple accents, pink cheeks, the ones on his face, get your head out of the gutter, a small black top hat, short black eyebrows, and he has eyes that have purple eyelids and blue pupils. Against his original counterpart, he has 2 circular hands, 4 fingers, and has no toes and no faceplates. Helpy also seems to be pretty fragile, since every time the player fails in a minigame, he ends up breaking his neck. R.I.P. Helpy. When Helpy appears in the office in Ultimate Custom Night, the player needs to click on him quickly, or he'll end up getting too close with an air horn, agitating sound-sensitive animatronics like Music Man up at the top. He also increases by 1 fast coin every time the player clicks on it. And at 3, Nightmare On. Nightmare On is the antagonist exclusive to the Halloween DLC for FNAF 4 and is a returning character in Ultimate Custom Night. Nightmare On is a human-like animatronic that has a white mask with black tears, black lipstick, white dots for eyes, and has a row of teeth on the top and 6 teeth at the bottom. His body is black and is designed to look like a skeleton. He also has a large chest with ribs protruding from the sides like a little weirdo like me, okay? You can see my ribs under here. Slender body, skeletal legs, and arms with claws protruding at the end, and with white stripes at the end of his fingers. During the night, Nightmare On will appear if the mouse cursor lingers over him, and once that starts happening, the player must avoid the area where he is. Taking too long to do so will cause Nightmare On to fully reappear and jump scare you, so don't do it. Penultimately, in at number 2, a surprise guest, Mr. Hippo. Mr. Hippo is a viable animatronic from FNAF 6 and returns as an antagonist in Ultimate Custom Night. Mr. Hippo climbs through the duct system trying to reach one of the 2 hoses in the office. The player needs to use the audio lure to keep him in place, or they can use the heater to push him back. He is fooled 100% of the time by the audio lure and faster than Happy Frog. However, most of the scare factor doesn't come from their behavior, okay, or their design, but this time around, rather, Mr. Hippo's death lines. You see, Mr. Hippo has a knack for going on about things a lot, going on tangents, kind of like me, honestly. But he goes into like 5-minute long speeches that you have to deal with every time he kills you, meaning that if you get jump scared, you're boned for enough time to make a sandwich, which is annoying as hell. Get scared by him enough and eventually you'll end up being terrified of him because you know what comes after the smoke of the jump scare clears. And finally, in at number 1, Nightmare. Nightmare is the main antagonist of FNAF 4 who returns in Ultimate Custom Night. Nightmare is a bipedal black nightmare bear animatronic. His face features contain scratches and distorts all over. His muzzle and jaw contains white sharp teeth with blood stains in the corner near his black gums and another set of teeth inside his mouth. The dude is like a demented, like one of those chickens that are like fully black including their organs. He's like one of those but an animatronic bear. His eyes contain black eyelids, red irises, and he has a shiny yellow hat because of course he does. He's a version of Freddy. His body features contain a lighter accent on his large stomach and he has a shiny yellow bow tie and another set of teeth crossing over his stomach. This dude has so many teeth. Nightmare Fredbear and Nightmare are actually a tag team duo in Ultimate Custom Night, invisible to the cameras, and they can only be seen when they reach your doorway. Wonderful. Fredbear will take the left, Nightmare will take the right. And even then, only their eyes are visible, okay? When you see this, you gotta close the doors on their faces to send them back into the depths of hell from whence they came. And it's at Glamrock Freddy. Glamrock Freddy is one of the new Glamrock animatronics in Security Breach. He is obviously the Glamrock version of Freddy Fazbear. Glamrock Freddy is based off the original Freddy Fazbear, but with an early UK 1970s vibe. Similar to Toy Freddy, he has a top hat, now with the thin blue stripe just above its brim. His microphone is now on a stand in which Glamrock Freddy holds so he can pull some sweet moves. And he is more rectangular in shape, but we still love a blocky boy. A light blue stripe is seen at the center of his bottom jaw. Glamrock Freddy within the game is Gregory's protector, attempting to help him survive until 6 AM and escape, with the player being able to climb into his stomach, which is being referred to as the birthday cake hatch on the PlayStation blog, and take control and hide from and evade other animatronics in certain sections. However, this usage is limited, and he will lose power and be forced to recharge before you can use him again. He was voiced by Kellen Goff, who also voiced Funtime Freddy in Sister Location, Rockstar Freddy, Mr. Hippo, and Funtime Foxy in Ultimate Custom Night, and an unused Bonnie voice from FNAF VR. And at 9, Glamrock Chica. This version of Chica is an antagonist. She is the Glamrock version of the original Chica, but these could also just be potentially reused toy animatronics. Just like the other members of the Glamrocks, she is dressed in a 1970s vibe. She is a white pink chicken with an orange beak, blue eyes, pink eyelids, and long eyelashes and orange feet, because you know, all chickens have this. She also has a few stray feathers that stick out from the top of her head and kinda act like hair with a pink bow around them, visible pink metal segments below her left eye, and a pink eyeliner above her right eye. Just like her toy and Funtime counterparts, this version of Glamrock Chica is noticeably more curvy, rather than simply round as like the original Chica is, which is gonna mean a whole lot more fan art. Chica also holds a blueberry blue and hot pink star-shaped guitar, and just like all of the Glamrocks, her eyes can be seen glowing red at times, which could also indicate facial recognition, just like the original toy animatronics had, even though it didn't really work because it was programmed by a serial killer. And at 8, Montgomery Gator. As an antagonist, Montgomery is an animatronic based on an alligator. He's actually the first animatronic to be based on a reptile. Just like the other members of the Glamrocks, he is designed to have a punk rock theme, thus dressed in an early 1970s aesthetic, and Monty is overall just colored green with patches of yellow on his stomach, jaw, and sub-segments on his tail, and spots on his reptilian textured body, cause, you know, apparently the wiki had to specify that. He bears a red mohawk and a green colored suit of armor, which you won't be able to see on the green screen, cause you know, it's green. He has sharp teeth and claws painted in black, his eyelids, a streak-like paint on the muzzle, feet, and hands, excluding the fingers, are also tinted a purple color, and Montgomery ends up helping the Glamrock animatronic band as a bassist, although the fisherman in me wants to say bassist. He seems to be very tough or strong since we see him burst through a gate in the first gameplay trailer, as well as destroying a prop turret in the second, which is the most recent one. In Fury's Rage, he's also shown to be very self-loving and egotistical, stating that when he's defeated, "How can I lose? I'm so handsome." And honestly, I relate. And in 7, Roxanne Wolf. Roxanne Wolf appears to be based on the female version of Wolf from Freddy in Space 2, which is a side-scrolling fighter game individually developed and published by Scott Cawthon for Game Theory's 9-hour St. Jude Children's Research Hospital fundraiser. It is the sequel to the original FNAF 57, Freddy in Space from FNAF World. This game was made for a FNAF fan named Skylar. He had a YouTube channel named Skylar Ginn, but Skylar unfortunately had cancer and died on October 6, 2019. Just as the other members of the Glamrocks, Roxy's dressed in a 1970s, more like 80s vibe. Her facial features greatly resemble both Foxy and Mangle, most notably with the lipstick and her amber eyes, and Roxanne, however, has visible metal segments below her eyes to resemble whiskers, but I don't know why they're very clearly metal. It's kind of weird. Opposed to the red cheeks like Mangle does. Roxanne's ears also have a light gray center lined at the edges with a gray outline, and she has 2 earrings on both ears, which is 4 more earrings than I have. And at 6, Daycare Attendant. The Daycare Attendant, as it's referred to on the wiki, is actually just the Sundance or Moondrop animatronic that we've been seeing since the first trailer. The Daycare Attendant features a crescent moon-shaped head, with half of it being colored in black to fill in the missing portion. Its face is a large nose and large grin, coupled with 2 red glowing eyes, one of which is above the tip of its nose, because you know, we gotta love that. Its hands are the same white color with dark blue fingernails. It wears 2 leather wristbands and ribbons coming off of them, and a light blue nightcap and baggy pants covered in stars. In its Sun version, it's colored almost entirely out of various shades of yellow. Its pants are now yellow and covered in brown stripes, and it has large yellow triangles protruding from its head to emulate those of the sun. You know how like kids draw suns? It's like that. Plus, its voice is just creepy as hell, especially in moon mode. If you've watched the last trailer, holy crap. It's also implied through the trailer that Sundance might actually be a guide, sticking close to the player and warning them about the time. Once it reaches a certain point though, like at at night, Sundance will end up turning into Moondrop and then chase after the player. However, I haven't gotten the chance to play the game yet. Like I said, I'm playing it in like 20-30 minutes or something like that. When I take my lunch break, I'm going home to play it. So I'm unable to substantiate this claim at this time. But I'll be able to in like an hour. Halfway through into number 5, the Alpha Z group. Staff robots are much more humanoid, futuristic, and sci-fi themed than previous characters. Their bodies look very segmented, with torsos being a very small semicircle shape, and the legs being like a tower with 2 wheels. The robots have the word staff painted on their backs, and the color scheme of the robots are off-white with blue accents and large orange cheeks. Certain staff bots also hold different clothing depending on their job. One such is wearing a sombrero as a waiter in the El Chip restaurant, and one is wearing a cap and holding a flashlight as a patrol guard. A group of staff robots, though, known as the Alpha Z group, are abandoned staff robots seen in the trash zone. These variants are much dirtier and duller in color due to just being abandoned and, in the trash, and their faces have tears and large toothy smiles drawn on them. Their lower arms have black stripes drawn on them, and they have the words "in your dreams" written across their chests. Finally, each one has 2 small glowing pupils in the center of their cold black eyes. These are the Nightmare Mini-Arenas, as I was calling them, that we saw teased in the first Freddy and Friends cartoon, as well as the ones that appear in the final trailer for Security Breach right at the end. So they're not Nightmare Mini-Arenas, which honestly that's fine with me. I'm glad that that's the case. And at 4, Destroyed Roxanne Wolf. In the 3rd episode of Freddy and Friends, a damaged Roxanne is shown for a single frame. While it's hard to make out what she looks like due to the severe glitches, because of course, she appears to have her eyes missing, as well as her now missing a large chunk of her face around the eyes. It is possible that she will have glowing robotic eyes similar to the ones of Withered Bonnie, or I guess the Alpha Z group. I'm still gonna call them Nightmare Mini-Arenas because it's just easier. But in a poster Steel Wool released around last Christmas, it shows Roxanne holding a bag of coal with a sour expression. This could be implying that Roxanne is a somewhat rude, mischievous, and sour person. Or I guess thing. Personality. She has a bad personality. She also seems to be the most aggressive of the animatronics, as she can be seen chasing the player as well as clamping her jaw while attempting to push through a metal gate. So basically, she's the animatronic version of my father. Since also Roxanne seems to wander around the Pizzaplex aimlessly until spotting Gregory and then charging at him, kinda like my father does. It's likely that when inside Glamrock Freddy, she won't notice the player at all, and will just still stand in place, kinda like my dad too. Getting close to the end into number 3, Destroyed Glamrock Chica. A broken Glamrock Chica animatronic can be found in the sewer area, or I guess it's kind of sewers, but it's also kind of not. It's cracked and broken all over the body. We saw this in the final teaser image from that one doco stream. She has paint scraping off the legs and face, and her beak has been broken off, exposing her endoskeleton jaw. The lower left side of her torso also has a massive hole in it, and the plastic suit on her left arm is entirely missing, with the exception of her wrist. Glamrock Chica seems to wander around the Pizzaplex aimlessly as well until spotting Gregory and charging at him, but in her destroyed state, she seemingly runs a little faster. I guess maybe she's more aerodynamic, because like all the air gets through, it's not stopped by the animatronic chassis, flows through the robotic parts, I don't know. But when inside Glamrock Freddy, she doesn't notice the player at all. She'll just stand in place. But you're also able to knock over paint cans and stuff to distract her so that she can move away and then you can go, but you gotta be careful. You gotta do that fast. Penultimately, in at number 2, Music Man Spider. Security Breach introduces a new variant of Music Man who is much larger. The wiki calls him DJ Music Man, but it also says that that's just the placeholder and it will be replaced once something official comes out. Personally, I still prefer my name of Music Man Spider, mostly because it's a reference to Spider-Man from the 90s cartoon. This Music Man is extremely similar in head shape to the original, however many of the details have been swapped out. And he now has blue eyebrows and cheeks as well as pink nose and lipstick. His top hat now holds a green stripe, and the top row of his teeth are decorated to look like piano keys. He now dons a large pair of green and red headphones and wears big cartoony gloves on 6 spider-like limbs. Finally, this variant of Music Man is much larger than in the original, being about a story tall, with this character being teased in the 2nd or 3rd Freddy and Friends cartoon. I believe it was the third if I remember correctly. And the fact that MatPat was not only able to call it, but also have it be revealed shortly after he did call it, that's what makes me know that he is the true king of FNAF, okay? Despite Dawko and Markiplier's sub count, and despite the amount of videos that I've made on the subject. We have like almost a year's worth of FNAF videos, guys, okay? That's concerning. And finally, into number 1, Tentacle Monster. Now, this unknown tentacle-based animatronic could be one of many things, and is something MatPat talks about in his latest theories. However, while most people associate tentacles with Nightmare On, it would be very weird to see them appear in this game, since technically speaking, they're just like Freddy Fazbear in our universe. Since, while yes, they appeared in FNAF 4, their appearance in that game was not canon. However, their appearance in the Night Terrors of FNAF VR was canon. Therefore, in the FNAF universe, they only exist as a video game character canonically, so seeing them appear in the real world would be confusing, but not impossible given that Glitchtrap is currently sentient code and also seems to be pulling things out of the Fazbear archives. More on that in a couple days, because I recorded that video a while ago, but I think it's going out like Sunday should be the release. That's on Sunday. I'll talk more about whatever Glitchtrap's doing. However, MatPat proposed that this animatronic revealed at the end of the first Freddy and Friends video is actually Baby, like we see here in the Fazbear Frights epilogues. And while that could be the case, I don't know how accurate that can be. Considering how the final book revealing this twist, they were said to come out after the initial release of Security Breach. So perhaps that was the intention, that it would be Baby, but it would have just been a mystery in this game and then revealed properly in the books, but now the surprise is kind of spoiled, but oh well, it's still something. And at 10 is Stitch Wraith. Now don't get me wrong, a Stitch Wraith appearance would be insane and would give us a canon version of the character. Well, a canon kind of like appearance. However, the amount of crap that this would mess up is beyond comprehension. The sheer lore implications this one thing would reveal just sends shivers down my spine. That would confirm every Fazbear Frights book in the main canon of the game. And it would also confirm them mostly as written, which would screw up the whole it's a matter of interpretation thing that we currently got going on, saying that like, oh yeah, Andrew from the Man in Room 1280 is just representative of this. That we couldn't say that anymore. Plus, I mean, from what we know of the story, it doesn't fit in properly whatsoever. This would be one of the weirdest ways to absolutely destroy the story of all the games. Like, the Stitch Wraith has no sway in the story that we currently know for Security Breach. Don't get me wrong, the narrative we've been told could be a total lie and a giant misdirect, but come on. Currently, if the Stitch Wraith shows up, I'm gonna be mad. And at 9, the puppet. I think I might have said this phrase more than any other saying in this goddamn world, but the puppet creeps me the hell out. Any form of the puppet is creepy as well. Like, I don't even have a fear of dolls, which I believe is called pediophobia. Either way, the puppet is one of the creepiest, creepy ass characters that I know of. And honestly, after seeing how it walks in FNAF VR, I don't want to see it running around the Pizzaplex, because that's some horrifically terrifying that I don't want to deal with. Not only that, but the puppet is supposed to be dealt with after FNAF 6. And if this game does take place after FNAF 6, like the appearance of Helpy in the first trailer suggests, the puppet has no business being in this game. So if it does show up, there are going to be some real issues with not only the timeline placement, but also like the lore, because I wouldn't understand what's going on at that point. I know that there's like those like little like nightmare puppet things, but like those are more like mini arenas, so... And it ate the OGs. The original animatronics are definitely some of the most iconic from the series, the most iconic being Toy Chica, obviously. However, the OGs appearing in Security Breach would be much like if the puppet had appeared. It, at this point, would have already been dealt with. The Happiest Day minigame set their souls free, and then their remnant was taken care of in FNAF 6's fire after Ennard as Molten Freddy got destroyed. At least if the games follow the novel story of the original animatronics remnant getting used in the Funtime animatronics. But even if they didn't, their souls were released in the Happiest Day minigame. That was the whole point of that minigame. So if the original animatronics show up, I'm going to be very confused. This whole timeline is very messy to begin with, so like we can use this as a way to sort everything out going forward. Like how I've been saying with the other two, these would just throw a wrench into everything that we've come to understand. And while this is par for the course for FNAF, I don't want to deal with it. And at 7, Bonnie. Now I'm calling out Bonnie specifically because honestly having any form of Bonnie animatronic in this game would be kind of pointless at this point. Bonnie has been largely removed from the game for currently unknown reasons, however introducing a glam rock Bonnie or something would kinda come out of nowhere and it's not really worth it. Bonnie, sure, is a fun animatronic, but the lack of a Bonnie animatronic could be serving as a way to demonstrate that Scott is moving on from the series after this game, since we all know that he believes Bonnie is the scariest, given that he had nightmares about the character while playtesting FNAF 1. So Bonnie not being included is kind of symbolic in a way, and I'm sure it didn't start off this way unless Scott had been planning his retirement for a while, but to include a Bonnie now would probably cheapen the game, especially because it's not really that big of a reveal. It's not going to be like Cap holding Mjolnir, or if there are really 3 Spider-Men in No Way Home, so it would just kind of be annoying for me. In its 6th, Springlock suits. With this game seemingly being as far away from the first FNAF game as can be, it's been ages since Fredbear's Family Diner, so the Springlock suits which would appear at this location would be an absolutely horrible idea to include in this game. The timeline placement is already finicky enough, but including animatronics that would have been decommissioned for decades would definitely confuse everyone. Especially me, because I'm one for choosing the most complicated and unlikely scenario and then believing it so much that I dedicate a whole theory video to it and then everyone gets mad at me in the comments. But if we see the Springlock suits that were both destroyed for, well, kinda obvious reasons, I think it would be safe to say that it's a bad idea to have them make an appearance, unless it's like in a form of like an Easter egg in a museum display or something similar. Halfway through into number 5, Vanny. Now I know that currently all we know about Vanny is that she's being controlled by Glitch Trap and that she's supposedly supposed to be the security guard Vanessa as well, but there were so many people accusing Vanny of being a robot in the early days of the trailers. Now don't get me wrong, but if that happens I'm going to jump off a building and everyone has to watch. Turning Vanny into an animatronic would probably take away from the story of this game so much, and honestly that would just make another game with Afton as the villain, which I'm sure plenty of people are fine with, but I think we all know that I'm firmly against Afton being brought back yet again. Since if we're moving forward, I don't want to have to deal with more Afton. He's like the link to the confusing and mind-numbing timeline, and honestly it just makes me dizzy to think about it. He's like the ex that won't let go. He just like, let us move on, please, Afton. Stop calling me. And at 4, Scrap Animatronics. The Scrap Animatronics are some of the most recent additions to the FNAF roster, being included in FNAF 6 and Scrap Baby being featured as a plushie in FNAF VR. The Scrap Animatronics were simply to allow for the story of the original group of victims to wrap up so we could move on with what comes next. So reintroducing them, aside from maybe an Easter egg, would be a huge conflict, especially with, again, the timeline, since this was supposed to take place after FNAF VR and AR, but FNAF AR's emails have the dates at which you actually receive them IRL, and FNAF VR is supposed to be the company trying to rebuild its rep after years after the final FNAF 6 fire, at least 4 years from my estimate in the timeline breakdown video I did. But with the reintroduction of these characters, it would have to take place sometime, at least at the same time if not earlier. But it also can't be too much earlier, since that would conflict with even more things. Do you see the issues I'm having here? Plus, they're terrifying and I don't want to deal with them again. Getting close to the end, in at number 3, Nightmares. The Nightmare animatronics better not show up in this game. In addition to the whole timeline issue as well as the story issue, these animatronics specifically are supposed to be illusions, created in a child's head as his mind processes that he's in the hospital dying from being bit by Fredbear. The whole point of these animatronics is that they weren't real animatronics. Yet, if they end up appearing, like someone seemed to point out to me on Twitter, since the arm from the end of the very first trailer looks like Nightmare Freddy's arm, we're gonna be in for a treat. And by treat I mean me freaking out and going absolutely bananas, because that would be the icing on top of the crap cake, from my perspective, honestly. Plus, like I said, this would cause a whole kerfuffle, and it would mean that Afton is probably gonna come back. If they can find a reason to make imaginary animatronics real, and it's not just like in like a video game in universe or in William's mind, they would find a reason to bring William back yet again. And there would be nothing I could do about it. It would drive me insane. But ultimately, in at number 2, Springer Scrap Trap. I know I already mentioned the Springlock suits and Scrap Animatronics before, but I just wanted to reiterate that I don't want to see William in this game. Unless it is in the form of Glitch Trap, because that would be unavoidable if this is really the story. But Spring Trap or Scrap Trap aren't good ideas, since again they should have been destroyed and William now exists as sentient code. So any physical manifestations of the character would have to be illusions if we get possessed or some hallucination. Although I don't know how Gregory would know what either version looked like. considering how, you know, he's a kid. But like, I don't know, maybe that's why special delivery includes Scrap Trap though, because that's the way that Gregory could understand what he looks like and able to actually hallucinate him if we do end up getting possessed by William and then he starts driving us crazy. Damn, now I like the way that this is going. Hallucinations aside, an actual real version of this character it would make me mad, okay? It's a pretty simple request. This isn't No Way Home. We don't need a multiverse and like time travel from like different aspects of the FNAF universe, okay? We don't need it. No matter how excited I am for No Way Home, we don't need it in FNAF. And finally, in number 1, Music Man Spider. Music Man was already a pretty creepy dude, okay? He feels like that uncle that's always standing around at like family reunions when those were legal, and he's just chilling out in the corner, drinking. Yeah, Music Man just chills behind you in Ultimate Custom Night, and then just like the old neighbors, he tells you to keep the racket down, resulting in a jump scare if you make or cause too much noise. However, here comes FNAF 9 with some goddamn arachnophobia, fear hallucination or something like that, because Music Man now has 6 legs and is absolutely gigantic. Yeah, this got real interesting real fast, and editor, I'm sorry that I'm swearing, but this makes me mad. Considering how I'm arachnophobic, I really hate this guy. But those who are arachnophobic and robophobic are going to find these sections of the game absolutely unplayable. So have fun with that. At least I'm not scared of robots, I'm scared of spiders. And I mean, like, I feel like I should be scared of spider robots, but they're not actual spiders. So I mean, like, apples and oranges. And while yes, this guy is actually in Security Breach and like he's being created for Security Breach, I put him on this list because I don't want to see him in the game. This will cause me to breach the security of my pants.
Number 10, Funtime Foxy. Funtime Foxy is just one of the cutest versions of Foxys that I think we have. I personally agree with this one being on the list, obviously. For me, I really love the coloring of this animatronic, and actually also the coloring of all the Funtime animatronics. Funtime Foxy is also an interesting animatronic in the sense that there is much debate surrounding the gender of Funtime Foxy. Some believe due to the makeup and coloring that Funtime Foxy is female, while others feel that Funtime Foxy due to their bow tie and masculine voice must be male. In Ultimate Custom Night, the animatronic was given male pronouns. For me, I think perhaps Funtime Foxy is kind of like neither and falls somewhere in between those two gender labels. Perhaps Funtime Foxy is a little bit more gender fluid than most animatronics. I've seen people reimagine Foxy as more feminine though, and it's a thing to behold, with fan art imagining a much more curvy version of this animatronic. Number 9, Lefty. I don't know what exactly it is about Lefty, but I just find him kind of handsome. Is that weird? I guess it's kind of weird. Lefty isn't maybe an animatronic that people immediately think about when they think hot, but I do. I think he stands out for me when it comes to good looking animatronics for some reason. I will say I've also seen people transform Lefty and reimagine him as a female, and even that has been pretty spiffy, I gotta say. Something I would love to see is Lefty get an eye patch like Foxy. I feel like he could really rock it. I feel like he'd look quite sporting and quite spiffy with an eye patch. There's also some weird imagery when it comes to Lefty's potential sexiness, with him being highlighted as a deadly sexy character, kind of like a more sinister version of Freddy, like a sexy villain if you will. Although technically in a way all the animatronics I guess are kind of villains for the most part, or at least antagonists, as many of them do try to, you know, kill you in game. Finding any of them, you know, hot is kind of weird, I guess. Number 8, Rockstar Chica. Something about those maracas, I suppose. For some reason, Rockstar Chica is a fan favorite when it comes to attractive animatronics. And there are a lot of people who have created fan art of her, imagining her as a cute blonde anime rocker girl, which is an interpretation of her look. Still, I think this version of Chica is one of the most odd in terms of people finding her hot, but there are people out there that do, so hey, no judgment. I've seen the fan art, I have the proof. And friends, before we move on to this next spot, if you are loving what we are doing here at Top 10 Gaming, please go check out our newest channel, Most Amazing Top 10 Anime. Click that subscribe button. Do it! Number 7, Mangle. I didn't believe that Mangle could be sexy, to be honest. I had heard the rumblings, and I wanted to be able to deny that they were true. But then I looked up Mangle FNAF Sexy. Do that at your own peril, because you will definitely find some very weird, very sexy things. I don't know how I feel about them. Personally, I think I feel uncomfortable. But there are people that really love Mangle out there, perhaps a little bit too much. When it comes to Mangle, I feel like the makeup is a big selling point for fans. That and the idea perhaps that Mangle is an interactive animatronic. I'm going to let you interpret that as you will, but I'm mainly talking about the fact that Mangle was disassembled and reassembled seemingly for fun. Pink is also just a color that I feel a lot of people like. It can be very feminine and very flirty, and this definitely sticks with people when it comes to how they perhaps see Mangle and the animatronic's potential sexiness, playfulness, and possibly feminine side. Number 6, Funtime Chica. I feel like the Funtime animatronics just in general really have just something going on with them. Maybe it's because they have the word Funtime in their names. Is there anything hotter than someone who advertises their love for having a fun time? Personally, I am here for people who just want to have fun. When it comes to Chica, there is also her coloring here to consider, and of course, the fact that it's Chica, but just in a fun time form. We always love Chica, don't we? We are big stands for Chica. Even with Rockstar Chica getting some love on this list, which I think truly speaks for how people are in love with this character. Because to me, Rockstar Chica, I don't know, not as hot. Funtime Chica, more hot though. Number 5, Toy Chica. Obviously, Chica is just one of the hottest animatronics out there. I don't think any of us are going to debate this. If you do want to debate this, meet me in the comments, let's have a debate. But among the different types of Chica animatronics, Toy Chica is considered to be one of the hottest ones out there. It could have to do with her very scantily clad appearance, with her she's wearing just like her little, it's like a bib basically, and like little, basically underwear. Or perhaps it's thanks to her ability to, remove her beak. I personally think Chica being able to remove her beak is really creepy, but I could see how other people might feel differently about it, because, some people don't find a beak, I guess, hot. I don't know. Toy Chica is also generally depicted as being curvier than most models of the animatronic, and has a focus on her eyes when it comes to fan art versions of the character. This is where it gets a little weird. The really weird thing is that this can extend to not just her big blue eye version with her beak and her eyelashes attached, but her other non-beak, pinprick white light eye version, where she appears to actually kind of be missing her eyes and only have 2 little bright white lights peering out of her eye sockets. So I guess some people also find the creepy vibes hot when it comes to Toy Chica, which, okay, I see you. You are seen. Number 4, Roxanne Wolf. Roxanne Wolf is one of the newest animatronics, which is why I'm also a little bit surprised that she would be included on this list, but yet we cannot deny how much love there is out there for Roxy, and I love that. I love that we have gotten new animatronics in Security Breach via Montgomery Gator and Roxanne Wolf, and the people have just completely embraced them and kind of fallen in love with them. I think that's really cool. Roxy comes across initially in the game as being all about herself, but later on we learn that there might be more to her after she becomes shattered, and she expresses great distress concerning that if she isn't beautiful any longer, people won't love her anymore. Oh, there's an amazing sense of connection I think people feel with Roxy that doesn't quite exist with any other animatronics we've seen this far for that reason. I think it's a combo of her punk rock vibes and her complex personality that makes her attractive to fans. Also, she got that hair. Her hair is very glamorous. It's very glam rockerous. Number 3, Ballora. I don't know what it is with people in Ballora, but there are a lot of folks out there who are seemingly obsessed with her. It must be that, severe waist to hip ratio that she got going on. She got very hourglass proportions, I feel. And perhaps her sense of grace, which lends to her, dare I say, beauty. Ballora is also quite feminine, which probably adds to people adoring her both in appearance and in terms of her behavior. Although she can still jump scare you in Sister Location, she's also a lot more timid or reserved, at least outwardly. She can sing and dance, so her talents are another reason people likely find her attractive, and her purple eyes, although we never really quite get to see them. Well, that is unless you're getting jump scared, but I'm not sure if people are here for that. I guess if you find scary things sexy, then you might be into that. Myself personally, not so much. Number 2, Glamrock Freddy. Glamrock Freddy is weirdly attractive. He is super tall, seemingly buff. who also stands as a father figure to Gregory. He's kind, he's compassionate, sweet, and genuine. Plus, he's also a rock star, being one of the glam rock animatronics and their lead singer. What is there not to like there? For some reason, people also love to draw him looking like super jacked. He's not only drawn to look buff though, he's also often drawn to look super handsome, usually sporting a chiseled jaw in fan art and a sweet, sometimes shy or playful expression. It makes sense that we'd think Glamrock Freddy is attractive though. He is designed to act as our pal, our friend, and our protector in Security Breach. And for that reason, it makes sense that people would see him in a more attractive light, because he's kind of playing an attractive role there. There is also a lot of fan art with him winking and like offering congratulations, saying, "Way to go, superstar," a line of encouragement from the game that he's become pretty famous for, and even in some cases memeable for. Number 1. Glamrock Chica. Glamrock Chica is definitely one of my favorite animatronics when it comes to the hottest one. That feels really weird to say. Glamrock Chica just seems like she usually has a fun-loving attitude. I mean, even when she's chasing after you and is horrifying, she still kind of seems like fun to me. Like, I don't know, I might not mind being caught by Glamrock Chica. Well, you know, except for the whole like jump scare part, and she probably is gonna like, you know, kill you part. This version of Chica seems to also love pizza, and I feel like she and I could both bond over that. I also really love pizza. The Glamrock animatronics also all come with some of the best designs in regards to their looks. So hey, that's also a bonus. So if y'all couldn't guess the one animatronic that inspired this list, it was Glamrock Freddy. With this fan art by Amon S, in particular being the one that triggered us to make it. So I guess